The colonel froze mid-step, his shadow stretching across the barracks floor. There she was, sitting cross-legged, a rag in one hand and a gleaming barrel in the other. The weapon rested across her knees like an altar offering, an M24 sniper rifle, standard issue, yet far too rare to appear in the hands of a young recruit. His voice cracked the silence. "Where did you get that rifle? Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening." The room grew still. Conversations that had hummed in the background fell away, replaced by the faint scrape of the rag against steel. Every soldier nearby turned, eyes flicking from her to the weapon and back again. The M24 was more than a rifle. It was a tool entrusted to the sharpest eyes, the steadiest hands, the quietest souls. And here she was, polishing it as if it had always belonged to her. Her hands didn't shake, but her heart did. She remembered the last time she held it in the field, the recoil, the silence after the shot, and the way the world seemed to hold its breath as targets fell. She had told herself she'd never see one again. Yet fate, cruel and relentless, had placed it back into her palms. The colonel stepped closer, boots striking the floor like a drumbeat. "Answer me," he demanded, though beneath his sternness lay a note of hesitation. He knew rifles, and he knew soldiers. This wasn't a game. Whispers snaked through the crowd. "She's just a recruit. No way she's authorized. How does she even know how to strip it?" Their doubts pressed in on her like a tide, but she kept her eyes fixed on the bolt, sliding it into place with a precision that silenced the murmurs for a moment. Her throat tightened. She wanted to speak, to explain, but explanations were fragile things, easily broken under the weight of disbelief. Instead, she chose to let the rifle speak for her. With deliberate calm, she pulled the bolt, inspected the chamber, and locked it back with the sound of finality. The colonel's gaze narrowed. He saw something then. Not arrogance, not bravado, but memory etched into muscle. This was someone who had been here before, someone who had once known the burden of a weapon that decided fates. The silence broke when the colonel reached forward, his hand hovering just above the rifle. "This weapon, it belonged to my unit, years ago." His voice dropped lower, almost a whisper. "How could it possibly be here, now, in your hands?" Her breath caught. She had hoped the past would stay buried, that the rifle would remain just steel and wood, not the key to a door she never wanted to open again. But fate had no mercy. She lifted her eyes, meeting his. "Because when your unit fell, someone had to carry what was left." The words struck like thunder. The soldiers around them went silent, the air thick with disbelief and awe. Even the colonel stepped back, his composure breaking for the first time. His memories returned, the ambush, the desperate retreat, the rifles left behind, and the one shot, distant but deadly accurate, that had saved his life. He had never known who fired it. Until now. The tension burst when a soldier at the back whispered, "She saved him." Heads turned, realization dawning like sunrise. Slowly, murmurs shifted from doubt to reverence, from suspicion to respect. The colonel, a man rarely shaken, drew himself up and saluted, not out of rank or duty, but out of truth. "Then this rifle doesn't belong to me anymore," he said quietly. "It belongs to the one who carried it when none of us could." Tears pricked her eyes, though she blinked them back. She hadn't wanted recognition. She had only wanted to keep the memory alive, of the brothers she lost, of the silence between heartbeats, of the duty that never truly ended. Because courage isn't about who fires the rifle. It's about who dares to carry its weight when the world turns away. And sometimes, the weapon in your hands is not a burden, but a bridge between the living and the lost. She had begun the day polishing steel in quiet solitude. She ended it, surrounded by silence of another kind. The silence of respect, earned and unshakable. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And the rifle that once symbolized loss now gleamed under the sun. A testament not to war, but to memory. If this story touched you, share your thoughts below and subscribe for more stories of courage, truth, and the human spirit.